Hey guys, we're going to be starting a new unit in math. We're going to be diving into division. Now that word division might sound a little bit scary, but you remember not that long ago the word multiplication sounded scary, and now you guys are rocking in multiplication. Now, just like addition and subtraction are like each other, if you can add, you can subtract. Multiplication and division are like each other in that way as well. If you can multiply, you can divide. And because you've worked so hard on memorizing your multiplication facts, and most of you have them nailed down in your head, it's going to make division so much easier. So good work in that. This is going to help. Now, multiplication and division, how do they relate together? Multiplication is equal groups repeated, right? With the key being equal groups. You have multiple groups of them, they're repeated. Now division is dividing something out into equal groups. So there's that connection, equal groups. Multiplying is repeated or multiple groups. Division is dividing them into equal groups. So we have a number, we have something, and then we're going to divide them out. Now we're going to start, instead of using the word dividing or division, I want you to think of an easier word, and that word is sharing. We're going to be talking about sharing. You all know that word sharing. You've been hearing about how to share your whole life. Sharing is something a little bit easier that we can work with instead of using that word divide. When we are dividing, we are actually sharing something into equal groups. So we're going to do that with a couple of problem-solving questions to start off right off the bat. The questions that you have on your worksheet for today are very much like this question. So we're going to go through this question together. Now I'm going to read the question for you, and then we're going to go through what I want you to do. So the very first question, it says there's 24 jelly beans. There are 3 people. Share the jelly beans into equal groups so that every person gets the same amount, or equal groups. Now, I have on here that we're going to use counters. I would like you to use counters. When you start your worksheet, I would like you to find some counters. Now, you probably don't have the counters like we have at school, those little plastic discs that we were using for multiplication. What I would like you to do is I would like you to find 25 small things that you have around your house. That could be Lego, you could use macaroni noodles, you could use popcorn, you could use pebbles from out in the garden. Make sure you wash them before you bring them in. You could use maybe little, if you have like little pet shops or you have enough of them, you want to do 25 of them, or the Shopkins, or I don't know, whatever you have. As long as you have 25 of them and they're a little bit smaller. If you're using 25 stuffies, it's going to be a little bit more work to do. So whenever I reference your counters, I want you to use that. So over the next week, you're going to be using your counters quite a bit. So find something where you can kind of hang on to them or put them in a baggie, or where you can keep it close so that you can use it for all of your questions. Now, my counters are these digital jelly beans. And I'm using this because I'm teaching you online and I want you to be able to see them a little bit easier than little something. Now, I counted out 24. The reason I counted out 24 is because my first piece of important information is how many jelly beans are going to be shared, okay? So when you get to a question, it will tell you how many that need to be shared. You are going to count that many of your counters, put them in a pile, and move the rest of your counters aside. So I have my pile at 24. Now the next important piece of information that I have in this question is that there are 3 people. Now for my story, I'm going to use the 3 people that I love the most, and those are my children, Alyssa and Chloe and Wyatt. And I'm going to represent them and their piles of jelly beans because I'm going to share jelly beans with them and make sure they all have the same amount. I'm going to represent them by a circle. There's Alyssa's pile. Here's Chloe's pile. And here's Wyatt's pile. Now I have 3 piles to represent the 3 people that I'm going to share my jelly beans with equally. Now, I have my pile, and I'm going to start by dividing them out one at a time, or sharing them out one at a time. I'm going to use those 2 words interchangeably, divide and share, okay? They mean the same thing. So I'm going to take 1 jelly bean, give it to Alyssa. I'm going to take 1 and give it to Chloe, and I'm going to take 1 and give it to Wyatt. Now, am I done? Have I divided out my jelly beans? No, I still have a pile more. And let me tell you, my kids would be like, what, just 1 jelly bean? You have all those jelly beans. So I'm going to share them all. Okay, so I'm going to divide them all out, and I want to make sure that they have an equal amount and that they all get an equal amount. So I'm going to start again, and I'm going to give one to Alyssa, one to Chloe, and one to Wyatt. One to Alyssa, Chloe, Wyatt, Alyssa, Chloe, Wyatt, Alyssa, Chloe, Wyatt, Alyssa, Chloe, Wyatt. Now am I done? They get lots of jelly beans. I'm not done. I still have a pile of jelly beans, so I'm going to keep going until I have none left. Alyssa, Chloe, and Wyatt. Alyssa, Chloe, and Wyatt. Am I done? Yes, I'm done. I have no more jelly beans left in my pile. I know that they have an equal amount. I can count them just to be sure, because sometimes we mess up or we put maybe 2 in one spot. So I'm going to count really quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alyssa has 8 jelly beans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Chloe has 8 jelly beans. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. Wyatt has 8 jelly beans. Awesome. Whew. So we finished that. We were able to make sure that everyone would get the same amount. Now, if I were to draw a picture of this for my questions that you're going to be doing later, you could do something as simple as this. Just make the circles and then just put dots inside to represent each one. That's just going to show me that you know what it means. Now, what about the division sentence? So now we're going to switch to that math brain and put it into an equation. Now, how we create this equation? We're going to start with the biggest number, just like in subtraction, because we're dividing it out. In subtraction, if you only have 3, you can't take 12 away from it, can you? So we would start with the 12 and then take away 3. Now in this one, we're going to start with the 24 jelly beans. So I'm going to start with that number right here. This is the number that we're going to divide out, the number we're going to share. Okay, then I'm going to draw my division symbol, divided by. Now, this is a really cool little symbol. It's like the subtraction symbol. You can make your line, and then you're going to put a dot on the top and a dot on the bottom. Pretty cool, hey? That is my division symbol. That's a symbol to represent division. So 24 divided by, or shared with, 1, 2, 3 people. So 24 divided by or shared with 3 people is, and how much did each kid get? They each got 8 jelly beans. So 24 jelly beans divided out by 3 people is 8 jelly beans each. Now, this right here is called my quotient. Now, in addition, my answer is called the sum. In subtraction, my answer is called the difference. In multiplication, it's called the product. And in division now, this is called the quotient. So we'll be looking for the quotient. So if you ever see that, that's what it's looking for. All right, so let's do another one. That's pretty straightforward. That's division. Look at how easy that is. You got it. Now you can also go back and make sure and see if it's right. You can say 3 times 8 is 24, but we'll go into that more as we relate it. Okay, next one. Here's another question. There's 21 snowboarders, and we need to divide them into 7 equal groups. How many snowboarders are in each group? Now, again, I know there are 21 snowboarders. I would like you, if you were doing this, you were going to get 21 counters, count them out, push them aside. Now I'm going to make 7 equal groups. Again, I'm going to do like what I did with the jelly beans. I'm going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 groups. Now this is just like, let's say we're at Nighthawk, and I want to make sure that each instructor gets an equal amount of students. We would have 21 students, and I have 7 instructors, 7 teachers. So let's divide out all the students to make sure that all of the instructors get the same amount of students to teach. Now, let's go with it. So I have 1 here, 1's going to go to that instructor, 1's going to go here, 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 here. Now each instructor has 1 snowboarding student to teach. Have I divided them all out yet? No, I still have some students hanging around waiting for their instructor. So let's divide them out. Here's another one for this teacher, one for this instructor, one for this one for this instructor, one for this instructor, one here, and one here. Am I done? Nope, there's still kids waiting. Okay, we'll give one to this guy, one to this girl, one to this instructor, one to this one to this one to this one, and one to this one. Okay, perfect. All the students are divided out. All of the students are shared out among the 7 instructors. Is there an equal amount in each group? Your answer should be yes. There is the same amount in each group. Now, how many are in each group? You should be able to quickly count that. There are 3 students or 3 snowboarders in each group. So what does my division sentence look like? Let's see. I know that I had 21 snowboarders to start out with. So my big number is always going to go first. Then I'm going to do my cool little divided sign, and I divided it into 7 equal groups, 7 instructors. I shared my students between 7 instructors. What's my quotient? How many do each instructor get? The answer is 3. Good job. So there's my division sentence. Now, if I was going to write my written sentence, I would say each group has 3 snowboarders in it, or each instructor has 3 students to teach. Okay, we're going to do one more. There are 22 pencils. How many equal groups can we make? Now, it doesn't tell us how many groups it wants us to make. It's left that open to you. Now, you have a choice in how you want to do that. I'm going to challenge you right now. I'm not going to give you the answer. What I want you to do when you're done this video is you are going to count out 22 counters. And then you are going to find all of the possible ways that you can divide out 22. How many different groups can you make with an equal amount in each one? I would like you to solve that, and then I would like you to comment it under this video in Schoology. I'd like you to comment how many groups you were able to make with an equal amount in each. Now, you only have to tell me one, but if you make more. That would be great. Okay, so that is the end of today's lesson. You have a few questions that you need to do after this. And for this one, I want you to take a picture of it, and you're going to either submit it to Schoology or you're going to send me a picture of it in an email. Okay, it's up to you. I'll see you guys later.